UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the United Federation of Podcast Network. I'm your host for today, Brandon Shemutella, and joining me are my co-hosts Justin and Chrissie. Chrissie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm just trying to figure out why all of a sudden I like pears. Used to think that they were terrible, but now I like them.
F those things.
Pears, yeah.
Brandon's being more audacious. Okay.
Yeah, now you're going to have to bleep that, Justin, because you're editing today. My godlike powers have taken over this podcast.
They sure have.
How are you doing, Justin?
Good, but you took my joke about godlike powers, so let's see. What else can I do? I don't know. There's a lot to talk about on this one. I'll just leave it at that. But I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. I'm going to focus on a few positive things at least today.
Well, little buddy, if you want to help me out, you can go get me my pads. I need some of them.
No, I'm not your little buddy. I'm not like that. Sorry.
Come on, little buddy. Anyways, in case you can't tell what we're here talking about today, we are here talking about the second season premiere of Justin's favorite Star Trek series, Lower Decks, entitled Strange Energies.
Yes, in the Mirror Universe, it is my favorite.
Now, we have a special guest joining us today. Now that we're back in our episodic coverage, we're going to have as many guests as we can joining us. And joining us is Jason Szilagyi, co-host of the UFP's podcast, History with the Szilagyis. Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Hi, it's going good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brandon. This is Justin. And also joining us is Chrissie. I don't know if you know her or not.
I don't know. It just doesn't sound familiar, but, you know, it's maybe run across each other in history somewhere.
Trying to think of a joke about the biblical sense, but I'll leave it at that.
Jason, it's great to have you here, but I'm sorry you have to be on an episode where I don't think there are all that many historical connections, although if you guys can come up with them, that's wonderful.
We'll see.
We'll
see. Star Trek connections.
Yeah, historical Star Trek connections.
Yeah, exactly.
So, excellent. Well, before we jump into our topic for today, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our show possible, particularly our associate producer, the godlike Justin Oser.
Thank you. And the godlike being invites you to join me and become one of my followers and become an associate producer. Where can we do that? Where can they do that now that they're under my spell?
You can go to patreon.com/UFP Earth and sign up. At $10 a month, you can become an associate producer. At $5 a month, you get early commentaries with Zach and I. And at $3 a month, you get early releases when we are able.
Awesome. And do it now or my detached head will haunt you forever.
Ooh, excellent.
Yes. Or maybe that's a perk. I don't know.
We have got some news to cover. Now, I haven't read this. I haven't read the article yet, but it's been confirmed. I thought we knew this already, though, that David Cronenberg will be back next year in season 4 of Discovery as Kovich. I think they said that already, though.
Might have said that, but I think one of the reasons I highlighted it was David Cronenberg was, I think, talking to someone, getting interviewed, and he said he'll be in 3 episodes. I don't think we knew he might be in multiple episodes, but Brandon, I mean, it's exciting. More Kovich, right?
More David Cronenberg, the great Canadian treasure of David Cronenberg. He's got a new movie coming out called Crimes of the Future, and it's interesting because it was either his first or second short film was called Crimes of the Future, but apparently these movies aren't related. There's no crossover in story. It's not like he remade his own movie or something. But that's exciting. That I'm looking forward to it.
But I'm just curious. Did you like Kovich, Jason, in Discovery season 3?
Yeah, he was interesting. It was kind of interesting to see where he fell in exactly with Starfleet,
which we don't really know yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we think Section 31, but they never confirmed anything like that. Hey, maybe he's Section 32.
Yeah, for the 32nd century, they had to rename it. I mean, that's so 31st century to be Section 31.
Can only be 31 until you get to that century, and then after that it has to add up.
Yeah. I mean, just like, 20th Century Fox or 21st Century Fox, although I don't know if that lasted. Anyway, but yes, we'll see what he becomes, maybe.
At the end of Futurama, they called it 30th Century Fox.
I remember.
Nice.
Anywho, well, we're going to jump into our discussion on Lower Decks Season 2, Episode 1, Strange Energies. And we're actually recording this on the day that it was dropped. So
I'm so stressed. I haven't had much time to prepare.
Yeah, not a lot. Days. Yeah, we have a few. How many times did you guys watch it, Chrissy and Jason?
Twice.
How many times did you watch it? Twice.
Once over breakfast and once ending about half an hour ago.
Nice.
Justin?
I watched it once and read the transcript the second time. I did not watch it the second time.
Read the transcript? Where did you find that?
Yeah. So if there are places that have the transcripts up like the day of, I don't know, they just automatically get it from the captioning or whatever. But yeah, if you just search for example, Lower Decks Strange Energies transcript, it comes up. I have the whole transcript for the episode. So instead of spending another 25 minutes to do that, I spent 5 minutes just scrolling through the transcript and picking up quotes and stuff. So my efficiency is godlike. Okay.
Which one did you enjoy more, watching it or reading it?
Reading it.
That was funny though when Chrissy and I were like transcripts. I was in my head. I was like storage compartments.
Oh.
So,
but anyway, yes, I did it a very unusual way. So, but I only saw it with my eyeballs once.
Jason,
yes.
What are your first impressions of the episode?
I actually really liked it. I thought it was kind of funny. It was a interesting dichotomy on the Cerritos without Boimler. It was kind of like Mariner didn't know what to do with herself. And that kind of bled down to everybody else.
Yeah. Chrissy, what'd you think?
I like that it picked up almost right where it left off.
Yeah.
When it started up and it was just like a Paramount production and it was that slow startup, they're doing this like the movie thing. And then where was she? She was right in the middle of the Vindicta program and it was fantastic. So, yeah.
Yeah, right on.
And we have a little...
Justin?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, we have a few changes in the opening sequence I'm sure we're going to talk about too. So...
Yeah, there was. I noticed right away, I'm like, this looks a little different. And then it went into the asteroid thing, and I'm like, maybe it's not different. And then when they got to the Borg sequence, there was some new ships there. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. That's interesting. So, Justin, what were your first thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm sure you guys are very interested to hear what I think. So
we are.
I'm going to keep it to the positive. So I'm going to tell you what I really liked the most. I thought there was some really beautiful animation in here, like a level above for certain episodes, like for what was going on with the kind of holodeck scenario at the beginning and stuff you see on the Titan and at the end with the anomaly and like the godlike stuff with Ransom. So I thought there was like a lot of really beautiful animation that was unexpected for me. I really liked the music. That actually stood out to me. I really liked kind of the in-episode music. Other than that, I had a lot of problems with it. I'll keep it brief for now, but like for the first season, I don't find it all that funny. It's not my kind of humor. And I thought Tendi was truly awful in this episode. I'll give a rundown when we get to talking about Tendi, but I really didn't like what she did in this episode. So overall, not my kind of thing, but hey, looks great, sounds great. Wow, that sounds like really faint praise.
Well, okay, all that I'm going to say, is that if you didn't like today's humor, then I'm going to give you a little homework, okay?
No,
I do not there's a website
from this podcast. Oh, but sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, it'll help you to appreciate this humor, because, I mean, it is kind of subtle humor here, but there is a website called kickedinthenuts.com, okay?
Brandon,
and it's just videos of people getting kicked in the nuts.
Oh, God. Okay.
Right? So if you just watch those, eventually you'll start to laugh because it is pretty funny when people get kicked in the nuts.
Sometimes. It really depends on the context. It was not in this one. but really, we talked about it last season, but humor is very subjective and this tends not to be the kind of thing that makes me laugh. So it continued. And the Titan was in there way too briefly. I needed a lot more Titan in this episode.
Yeah. It was just whetted your appetite, that's all.
Yeah.
But it was basically what we'd already seen in some of the promos. So I was like, okay, fine. Except the anomaly, which looked really cool. But okay, those are my initial thoughts. Let's move on.
So I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was really good. There's a couple spots that I really laughed at that I thought were pretty funny. I thought that the funniest part was the guy that was like hanging around Ransom. So I thought he was really funny. And so, like, his lines were the funniest. And then at the end where he's like, look, I just picked a number, now get the hell out of here. Right? When he finally, that too made me laugh pretty hard. But I really like the callbacks to my favorite episode of the original Star Trek.
Thought you might.
Which is Where No Man Has Gone Before. I was looking at it and I'm like, when I was watching it, I'm like, is that Gary Mitchell? And then I was because I was looking at the image of the guy so much, I didn't realize that his name was written right there beside him, right? So, so I was pretty excited about that. And I mean, like, what I enjoyed about this is there's a couple of aspects of this that really are very Star Trek, like the godlike powers and, coming across like some weird, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, like some old ruined building or whatever, and having weird things happen because of the building they've encountered. That happened here. I mean, when they were cleaning it off, I was thinking of the animated episode, How Sharper Than a Serpent's Tooth, and whatnot, just the way that things were set up, and what's the data one that everybody hates? That's not, I don't think, Masks. I was thinking of that.
I love
one too,
Masks.
So.
What do you mean?
I like Masks too. I think it's fun, but everybody generally hates.
Yeah. Oh, so, can I tell you what I thought was the funniest thing in the episode, where I did actually laugh? So I don't know, we'll get deep into the ransom stuff, but he's being his godlike being stuff and hovering, and T'Ana, the doctor gets hold of his leg and has the hypo spray, and then he turns it into an ice cream cone. I didn't laugh at that, but then he like shakes her off, and then Ta'ana's just looking around and she's like, well, might as well eat the ice cream cone. I thought that was funny. I thought that was funny. I think what I find for me is I like the kind of humor that doesn't call attention to itself necessarily, and that didn't call attention to itself. It was just there, and I thought that was funny. So
let's start off then, I guess, with Mariner's holonovel. I thought this is an interesting way to start the episode, and I think they did this because everybody seemed to like the Rise, whatever the name of the episode was. The
Rise of Vindicta.
Except me.
Except you. Everybody seemed to like that one a lot, so I think that's why they went with this. But I mean, I guess I was a little disappointed because from what I'd seen from the images and previews, I was hoping that this part took place on Deep Space Nine because of the shape of the Cardassian stuff. So I was a little disappointed that it didn't actually take place there, but I thought it was fun, and seeing a Miranda class ship was pretty darn cool.
That was cool.
Yes.
So and it looked beautiful. I mean, they rendered it or drew it really beautifully, and there were some really nice angles to it.
Yeah. So, Jason, were you disappointed that it turned out to just be a holonovel and not an actual escape attempt?
No, I actually thought it was pretty good the way they did that. Again, it's nice that it called back to season 1 with Mariner having therapy and using the holodeck to do
therapy,
that. So, it just...
Well, it's kind of an exercise routine and therapy this time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Worf felt the calisthenics program was therapeutic. I don't think Troy might have agreed, but, you can have both.
Do you think as Worf is like, breaking the spine of that Skeletor man, he's like, Alexander, you didn't put your dishes away again.
Maybe.
Well, that would not be healthy, but it's healthier than doing that to Alexander, so there's that.
Okay, Chrissy recommends breaking spines in the holodeck.
Rather than breaking the spines of your children.
What's the kill pixels, not people? Yeah. That's from the late 90s.
Yeah.
Excellent. Justin, what were your thoughts of the holo program itself there at the beginning?
Yeah, that was interesting because, as I mentioned, I really didn't like that episode that I know everybody else liked in the first season with the holonovel. Like, and first when it was happening, I was like, oh, yeah, it looks really cool. I kind of like this. I was disappointed it wasn't kind of really happening and that it was the holonovel, because I was like, that could have been pretty interesting. And what's going on with the Cardassian? Nope, it's a holonovel. Okay, fine. So I liked how it looked and felt, but I didn't laugh and it didn't get into it too much. So
it threw me out of it when Boimler was like, I'm a hologram, and I'm sure real Boimler would have been like, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. I mean, that brings up all kinds of ethical questions. He's aware he's a hologram. Is he sentient? Like, what is Mariner doing to him? So, but they breezed by that, of course.
Yeah.
Well, that just connects with it from earlier, because the way she programmed it was with that dubiously ethical thing that Boimler did in the first place of putting everybody's information in the system.
That's right.
And so,
that breach of privacy.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently there's not a thing at the Academy that's don't do what Geordi did with Leah Brahms. So, Okay, well, that wasn't as funny as I thought.
Well, you shouldn't do things like that with Leah Brahms.
I wasn't going to laugh because that's a serious thing you should not do.
Well, the funny part was supposed to be like they would have to tell you that at the academy.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. Or maybe they had a class on how to do it better so that people didn't figure it out.
See, I don't know. We're going to get on a tangent here, but the thing with Leah Brahms is that he didn't intend for it to go that way. It just ended up that way.
Yeah. That's
right?
true.
So
That's true.
Yeah, and there was it was a margin of error. So he should have deleted the program and not kept it, right? So we can have all the ethical questions after that. But for the episode Booby Trap itself, there was just weird things happened in the holodeck.
Yeah, that's true. She was just an interface. So anyway, yeah.
Yes, we won't say what was interfacing with her in that thing. So moving on. Justin,
me again?
Let's jump onto this. Yeah, this is for your topic here. Okay, so let's jump into Tendi here. Now, I think I know what you're going to say on this, but I mean, this plot line is like a staple of comedy shows since the beginning of time.
Yes.
So it just... Go ahead.
Yes, but I think what she was doing was really extreme. And, we've talked about this last season, okay, how seriously do you take it? Do you treat it like you usually do for a Star Trek episode? And I do. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But and I also like to analyze the characters and see what they're doing. And I did like Tendi for the most part in the first season, but let's get the rundown. So, I mean, I think at the beginning you see, I think as a carryover from last season when Rutherford had the stuff that happened and now he's, trying to reacclimate himself or things are a little different when they put his implants back in. And Mariner and Tendi are talking after, he goes down the wrong hallway or whatever, right? And they're talking about it. And basically, once Tendi finds out that he's dating Ensign Barnes, she basically then starts talking about this synthetic memory degradation, which we find out later she made up. And then you see her
okay, she probably didn't make it up. She's just lying that he has it.
Yeah, that was my
probably okay. Fine. Maybe she's not making it up, but regardless, she's lying that he has it, right? And she gets him into sickbay and pretends that he needs to get shocked again and again and again. And hold on, I want to go through all of the things that happen in this part of the episode, but.
I actually can add to why that's bad. I don't think they were in sick bay. I think that was a cargo bay. I think if she tried to do that in sick bay, they wouldn't have let her.
But she's doing it under the
under the auspices.
Feeling like this is a medical thing that I'm doing for you. But you're right. I guess it isn't sick bay. So she keeps doing this and this awful shocking, and eventually takes it off and he's like, don't bother me, and he just kind of goes away. And then later he's in the mess hall and she starts trying to shoot him with this medical venom stuff, which who knows what that does or how dangerous that is. And Rutherford's asking her to stop and all of that. And then she runs down the hallway with some I guess glowing energy knife or something, is talking about getting his. It says, I'll have to get your brain out of your skull and freeze it so I can nanosuture your dendrites by hand. This is really extreme stuff here, right? And then eventually it's oh, you don't really have it. And Rutherford's oh yeah, it's fine. No big deal. But I think it's a really big deal what she's doing just and then at the end of it, she's oh yeah, everything's fine, but don't date Barnes. She's trying to do all this stuff to really pressure him into doing something with his personal life, and I was just appalled by it, to be honest. I know it's an animated show, but in Star Trek for me, this is just beyond the pale for someone in Starfleet to be doing, and I didn't find it funny. I thought it was disturbing, and if anything, the conclusion I had, we'll talk about what Mariner does, but I don't think Mariner should be in the brig. Tendi should be in the brig for doing this, because she's dangerous and mentally unstable. Anyway, that's my rant.
I want to add to that because I've kind of come to terms with when we watched season 1 of this, we were okay, we got to talk about this it's a real Star Trek show.
It is a real Star Trek show. Because that's what they're presenting
it. Yeah, sure. Because that's how they're presenting it to us, right? And I'm I'm just enjoying it as an animated comedy show. And so because I've really made that differentiation in my head that this is absolutely not within Star Trek continuity, call it canon, call it not canon, whatever you want. To me, this is not within Star Trek continuity. Then I've really come to terms where this didn't bother me in the episode. However, just because of that differentiation that I've made in my head now, which I'm also okay with. However, discussing it, my big question is, what the hell was she going to do if she like caught him?
Yeah.
Like, was she going to actually take his brain out? Like, what was her plan?
I mean, it seems like, I don't know what her plan is, but it seemed like she was ready to do something that would be really dangerous. It's all, I mean, they were portraying it like she was just in like this jealous rage and maybe didn't even like know what she was gonna do or pressure him into I don't know what. It's just like reacting, but I don't know like what the plan is. Because she's talking about like, oh, you have this condition and like it'll liquefy your brain that'll come through your nose, and it's like, okay, so how are you going to help with that? Yeah, I really
freezing
don't.
his brain that way it's not leaky.
Yeah, cool. I mean, and he can use the techniques that McCoy had had developed for Spock's brain, so you know it would all be fine. But yeah, like I realize you can make that like, But even if I just set aside like this is Star Trek, I think also I still wouldn't find it funny. There's just something that there's like comes to be a certain level of seriousness that they're actually taking it and that they're taking it to that makes it hard for me to laugh at that. So anyway.
Yeah, like I didn't laugh very much at this plot point for like this storyline, this B plot or whatever you want to call it. So, Jason, you have anything you want to add on this topic here?
Yeah, it was rather creepy, and I was sitting there trying to think about other, the few interactions there are with Orions, female, women Orions, and the only one I could think of was Kirk in the prison. And I can't think of her name now. Bad Star Trek fan, but the female Orion, Vita, and how she was so possessive of him, even though she was technically not involved with him. And I'm like, okay, is this kind of a bleeding over parody of that with Tendi and Rutherford?
Well, and we've got the whole issue of the what was established in Enterprise about the Orions being that the women were actually manipulating the situation, even though they appeared to not be. So I actually, from a canonical standpoint, that does make me wonder why she didn't just use her pheromones on him.
Well, I mean, maybe
there wouldn't be a story.
But I mean, maybe that isn't a thing anymore in the 24th century. Like, there's so little we've seen of Orions in the 24th century, and if you go further forward to Discovery Season 3 with Osira, like that isn't a thing as far as we know, right? Like that's not something by that point. Maybe it's not by the 24th century, but like I guess my disappointment is that I think that's really interesting to think about an Orion Starfleet officer, but we're not really getting very much about like how that culture shapes her or who she is, because it's just like on to the next joke. So I don't know. I think it could be funny while bringing in elements of her culture, but we're not really getting that. So
I've been racking my brain trying to think of an example, a similar type of thing that went on like in some sitcom or drama, because I feel like I have seen this but reversed, where it was a man doing this to a woman.
Oh, it usually is.
Usually, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so,
although not this extreme, usually, I think, tries threatening to take your brains out.
Take your brain out, right? So there's something to be said for flipping the dynamic, which I think is interesting, showing that it's equally creepy on both sides. I don't know that I'd go quite so far as to call it gaslighting, because it's not quite that well thought out, maybe. But yeah, she's definitely trying to manipulate him, and it's disturbing.
Yeah, I like how Rutherford encapsulates it right before he says it's fine. He says, "Oh, you were utilizing highly invasive neuromedical procedures in order to make sure I liked you." Like, when you think about it that way, you're like, "Wow, that's really terrible that you're doing that." And he's like, "Oh no, that's fine. That's what I would do." I mean, and I guess technically, like, if Rutherford is okay with it in the end, then it's not a big deal and he's not going to make a big deal out of it. But what if Tendi like does that to someone else and they really aren't cool with it, I see. I think they played it up though. The joke in how they played it up is that you're supposed to think she's jealous of the date that he's going on. Right. And at the end of it, it's not that. I think at the end of it, it is that, because she adds, and don't date Barnes. Like, it is about that in the end. No, I actually got a chance to rewatch the first 2 episodes, and that is how they bonded, right? They bonded over the fact that they were both disgusted with the fact that she would take the relationship over
the malfunction, right? Okay. Like she'd be more interested in the relationship than the malfunction. And so Tendy's, so based on this, so the joke starts off that they're going on the trope that it's a sexual attraction and that's why she's doing this. At the end of it, the flip is that it's not that at all. She's concerned about him because she's like, the real Rutherford would be like not interested in her at all because this is the thing that they bonded on, right? So she's concerned for him that he's not himself still, right? Because the real Rutherford was no longer interested as soon as she took relationship over work.
Okay, but that's quite a way to make him realize that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But that's what the flip of the joke is, right? Is that she's concerned about the friendship. So at the end of it, she's like, don't date her because, again, you don't like her.
Oh, I see. But I think they're still I think they're still playing something that she's really interested in him. But I
think that we see that as fans, though. But honestly, I don't think they're going to go there in the show.
Maybe
because
not.
In that second episode, at the end, we're like, we ship Tendy and Rutherford because of that tender moment they had in Jeffrey's tube.
Yeah.
But again, she was looking at the stars and he was looking at the technology, and they were both staring in awe at completely different things. And we felt it was a tender moment, but they weren't having the same tender moment that we, the viewers, were having.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So like there's this whole interesting connection going on with them. And I think it's just going to end up being just pure friendship. And I'm okay with that. Tendy had that. Did she? I haven't rewatched the whole season, but she had a date with somebody else, right? Like she was interested in somebody else at some point, if I remember correctly, in season 1.
Sounds right.
Am I misremembering something?
I don't know. I haven't rewatched
sure.
season 1.
I don't remember that. I just rewatched recently, but I don't recall that.
Yeah, but I will say, Brandon, I think you've managed to convince me that you're right. That she's just trying to look out for him as a friend, even though her methods are wrong. But it's not that she's trying to be in a relationship or date him, but that she cares about him. I think I'm convinced about that now. So, okay.
It's interesting that you bring up the thing about how they were just spending time together, basically looking in opposite directions, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It reminds me of something I read about how neurodivergent people connect. And one of the ways that they do that is, I think it's called parallel play. I might have the wrong terminology.
I think I've heard that term before, yeah.
Yeah. So like you've got somebody you want to spend time with, you're sitting in a room, I'm playing Super Mario Brothers and he's watching a zombie movie and it's perfectly lovely, and so that's not to make the connection with us that they're having a romantic connection, but I think they definitely Rutherford at least is being presented as neurodivergent. Now, if that's because of the implant or that's just who he isn't really important in the long run, but I think they're definitely showing that, which actually might make what Tendy did worse, but that's a whole other issue. Yeah.
But yeah, that's an interesting way to think about it, yeah. Guys are, again, like you did last season, I'm getting more out of this than just thinking of it as Tendy being awful, so I like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. She was awful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, but I mean, the stuff that we're talking about and trying to understand what's going on is helping me to be more engaged with it, which is good. I just loved Rutherford's line. I just want to go swimming with girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, come on, show. You're going to tease me about seeing people from Cetacean Ops and not show it. That was my favorite reference in like the first episode of season 1 and in this episode. And if we don't see Cetacean Ops in this season, come on. We've got to see it. Yeah. Animated show, you got to see it. But
that is one thing that leans it toward Tendy having some jealousy, because if he's just your buddy, you understand that, he wants to go have some fun with this girlfriend, and people in Cetacean Ops. So let him, So I think there is some jealousy there, but I don't know that it's necessarily romantic jealousy. It could just be time jealousy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. She's like, I want to make sure that I'm still going to be your friend, right?
Yeah.
She says that.
Yeah.
So, Jason, it looked like you were looking something up. Were you checking something out there?
I was trying to see if there was anything that I could find on Tendy dating anyone on season 1, and I was not successful.
No.
Yeah, that's I seem
I'm
to
sure it's probably in
it,
there, but
I could be wrong.
Are you sure it wasn't you in a fantasy sequence, Brandon?
It might have been me and Barnes. I mean, Barnes is pretty hot. She's trill and she's hot, right? So, it could have been that.
Okay.
So.
Before we step away from this part, I just want to say one thing.
Sure.
that has nothing to do with them being terrible, but I love the way they set up the parallel with his first date with Barnes, about how they're dealing with this interpersonal issue amidst chaos and emergency, and they're completely ignoring the chaos and emergency.
And wasn't it the case in the first season episode when they had a date that people were shooting at them as well? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Caused by something Ransom did.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
So basically, they just redid the first episode of the first season. This show's trash.
No new ideas. What are they doing?
Well, I mean, that first episode of the first season didn't have a Titan, so it's not exactly the same. But no,
that's true.
They did parallel that scene. Yeah.
Well, but I think reasonably, I think that was intentional and reasonably so, because they're paralleling the issue. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's jump on to our next topic here. So you've called it Freeman and Mariner, A Study in Nepotism.
Yeah. You can blame me for that title.
I don't know that this is nepotism, though. Like, so again, I haven't seen the last episode, so I don't quite remember how it ended, right? But I remember that she came up with a solution that the mom liked, so she's like, yeah, I'm going to give you more of a free hand. I don't remember them deciding that they would be doing all these weird side missions together. I just remember her saying she's going to give you a free hand. But I mean, this is like the opposite of nepotism, I think, this whole thing, because they hate each other. They hate working with each other, right? So, and I think that like whatever the mom wanted to do backfired in her face.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No question there. It is Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, tell us how it's nepotism.
No, it is nepotism because Mariner's gaining an advantage over the fact that she has somebody who's an authority over her, allowing her to do what she wants, or even encouraging it in some aspects.
If the captain wasn't her mom, I don't think she would have necessarily gotten that.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
No. Mm-hmm. Although I have to believe any captain would have been like, yeah, teach them how to clean their buildings. That's probably not the worst thing to do.
Well, anyway, I would say when Freeman is talking to Ransom and she calls him Jack because he's her subordinate.
Well, Mariner, yeah.
And then Mariner calls him Jack as he walks out, and it's like, okay, you didn't see Wesley call Riker Bill or William when he, was cruising through.
Never.
But even the nepotism too, the fact that Freeman's husband is an admiral and saying, you're stepping closer to getting a ship of the line, a capital ship. Mm-hmm. Going from I don't know, is it a frigate?
You could better tell.
Well, apparently, according to Mike McMahon, this thing is larger than the Enterprise E. So who cares, right? So,
what?
Yeah, he tweeted out that this thing is like significantly larger than the Enterprise E recently, based on some size study they did with the Starship people, the Star Trek Starships people.
Sure, but they still don't get
Cerritos.
They still don't get the flagship missions.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess they're basically a science/diplomatic vessel, so there's probably closer to the size of the Enterprise D in terms of capacity.
Possibly like cruiser or something.
Yeah, which I don't think anybody had that thought that it was even close to that large. No. I think they all thought this was like the ship from Star Trek 3, an Oberth class, is basically the size that I thought this thing was going to be, right?
Yeah.
So,
But you know what? Just because Mike McMahon says it, I want to see it on screen for it to be canon and for me to believe it.
Let's see a side-by-side comparison.
Just because Gene Roddenberry said it, that's fine. Yeah. Not that they're equivalent.
It has to be on screen, okay? It has to be.
That's true.
But yeah, like it is interesting, the thing that they're setting up where, you have the father that's the admiral and the mother that's the captain, and then you have Mariner's the daughter on the ship. Like there's a lot of, I don't know, weird stuff. I have to say for this plot, I had issues with it last season with like the interaction that the two have together. And basically the interaction in this episode was like, all right, cool, I'll do these things. All right, it's not cool, I'm throwing you in the brig. I don't know. I just don't like the kind of up and down and how adversarial they can be. But what do you guys think? Just about Mariner and Freeman, like in this episode.
I don't understand why Mariner got in the brig at the end of the episode.
She said, oh, you disobeyed orders, but what order did she disobey?
Yeah, her mom's like, go down there and clean it. You're off record. And then aside from the fact that they're like are bickering over what the thing they should do is, which I mean, every single episode of Star Trek that has a problem has people promoting more than one idea. Yeah. Right. So like, yeah, fine. She doesn't like being shot down, but I mean, like in the end, again, it turns out that she was right again, because she's always right. Always right.
Just like Mike.
So then she just kicks him in the balls.
I agree with you on Mariner, but not on Burnham. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I would.
So I mean, so in the end, she saves the day, and then she gets thrown in the brig. Like, what does she get thrown in the brig?
It feels vindictive and like an abuse of power to me. But go ahead, Chrissy.
No, I was going to say this is somebody who doesn't know how to deal with Mariner. She doesn't know how to deal with her daughter, and when you have a misbehaving child, maybe you make them go sit in the corner. And throwing Mariner in the brig is making her go sit in the corner because she doesn't know how to deal with her on an adult level, which is the basis of the entire problem in the first place.
Yeah, right. I was disappointed that it turned out that Freeman was wrong, because when Freeman was like, look, I know what I'm doing, and she's starting to feed Ransom's ego, and he starts to like,
I thought that was interesting.
I'm like,
oh, okay,
good.
Yeah.
Somebody else has found a solution to this. Thank you. And then it just turned out to be, no, it wasn't that.
No,
and I'm
you
like,
have
damn
to
it.
kick him in the balls repeatedly in order to solve the problem. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the hardest problems in life do have to be solved that way.
Yes.
So,
although I think that Ta'ana is a miracle doctor, because I mean, not only did he get kicked there a number of times, but like a boulder falls on him, and it was enough to kill Gary Mitchell, but Ransom's okay. And this looked like a bigger boulder than Where No Man's Gone before. It was like on a forklift.
I did enjoy that. She's like, I'm gonna go find a boulder, and if you weren't paying attention, you didn't even know that she said it. That's
Yep. But she said it earlier in the episode. She's like, how did they finally get rid of him? Oh, Kirk dropped a boulder on him.
Let me go get one.
Yeah, just so nonchalant.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like the callbacks a lot in this story to, especially the Gary Mitchell one. Like that really warmed my heart, because I love Where No Man's Gone before so much. Like, it's one of my favorite episodes of Star Trek, and it is hands down my favorite episode of the original Star Trek. Right. So it's always fun when they get to call back to that. So.
And at the risk of making you angry, I think that's an okay episode of Star Trek. It is far from a favorite. Sorry.
This is consistent. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was kind of fun to do that. But like, I don't know, this whole plot with Ransom being a godlike being and like the level they were taking it to, I was just like, okay, I guess that's happening. I mean, I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was just odd. But what did you guys think of? I
thought it was funny. He was trying to chew on the ship. That was pretty good.
He was holding it like a hamburger, holding the shields like a hamburger.
Yeah.
Like a teething toy or something.
And it's funny, like at first when he starts like using his powers to basically like weight lift trees, I thought that's a funny concept, but I'm not laughing. Why am I not laughing at that? That should be funny, but it was one of those weird things. I was like, I recognize that that's a funny joke, but somehow the way they're doing it, I'm not laughing.
One of my favorite jokes in this was when they're bringing over, and he's like bringing over like a stationary bicycle, and they're all like, "Is this gym equipment?" Yeah. Right? It's just like that's what godlike powers to turn everything into gym equipment.
Yeah.
What would have been really funny is if he just turned the entire planet into basically like an enormous gym, like the whole planet is like that. That would have been funny, but
just snap his fingers and it's Planet Fitness.
Oh, yeah.
Planet Fitness. I love it.
They could sponsor it, yeah.
There is the real potential he might have done that if Mariner hadn't been there, because that was the thing where he snapped, because it was, he's been placed between Mariner and her mother the entire time, and he asked a babysitter. And when she said, well, I have my own mission, I don't have to listen to you, that was like the final straw for him before he got the godlike powers. But even though she made him so mad, he did what a Starfleet officer should have done. When the energy was coming out, he ran to save her, despite the fact that she just burned him all the time.
I like that as well, too, because in the first season, he was basically presented as kind of incompetent as well.
Yeah.
Like on a lot of the missions. But yeah, he went to do that. And he was really, truly frustrated with the situation. Like at the end, where he's just like, this is ridiculous. You guys hate each other. No, I don't want to be a part of this team because I hate her too. And I don't want to report to her or anything like that. Which is, again, more for why Freeman's probably the worst captain in Star Trek, right? So, she's not handling her command staff very well.
I think so.
But I appreciated that. I like that, how that was fueling his rage and his anger, right? What the captain was doing, and this whole, you guys have convinced me. Yes, I'll go back to that. Yes, nepotism is probably a good word for this here. And you guys have convinced me on that. So, but yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
I think we've all been in situations where we've had somebody who is a boss's favorite, who is technically subordinate to you, but you end up having to, do what they say anyway. Is that making sense? Yeah.
At least, so. Although I don't
dealt
know
with that in a retail situation. So
had that situation for some reason.
Is that because you're always the boss's favorite?
I don't think so. Oh no,
maybe
it's me.
Maybe I'm overgeneralizing, but
no, I just think it's. I was just thinking, like, if I've come across that, yeah, I'll have to ask my coworkers. Is this me? I don't think
that's a little tougher in a work from home environment. I don't know. It's not.
Maybe.
But yeah. Before we go past the whole org chart thing, does anybody have the impression that Admiral Freeman is Captain Freeman's direct superior?
I kind of.
It's not clear.
Maybe not.
I don't know that he's her direct superior. He could very well be. We've only seen him twice, right?
Yeah,
True.
He could be, although you would think that there would be some kind of rule against something like that, like some kind of involved family member, like being your boss. But
no, because Troy and Riker.
That's true.
Riker and Troy, right? They're married.
Yeah. So maybe not. But yeah, it's not clear if she directly reports to him or if she's like, hey, I'm close to you, or he's calling to check, and maybe someone else is her direct superior. I hope it's Nechayev, because I love Nechayev. But anyway,
I want Admiral Jellicoe.
Jellicoe, that would be cool.
That actually wouldn't be bad in that. Yeah.
That could definitely have some comedic elements if Jellicoe was thrown into this mix.
Yeah. He'll want to temporarily take command of the Cerritos and make them do like 16 shifts a day or something.
Everybody has to do 2-hour shifts on opposite ends of the day. Yeah. The reason I bring that up is, yes, I mean, that would be a huge problem anyway, putting all the rest of the stuff with Mariner aside. But if their dynamic is as subordinate and supervisor, not the right word, but superior, then that's not a healthy dynamic with them. We can see that. She's lying to him about what's going on, Mm-hmm. And so that then leads to, there is no example of a healthy dynamic for Mariner, or for any of them, really.
You saying the fact that she lied to him actually now makes me think that he is her direct superior.
That's part of it that I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that actually makes me think, because if he wasn't, then what was going on wouldn't matter. Right? The problems going down on a planet wouldn't matter to him if he wasn't. If he was just calling her to say, hey, I got the scoop that if you do a good job here, you're going to get a promotion, then her saying, it's not going well, right? But the fact that she lies to him, that means he is definitely her superior officer. So
I'd say probably, but not necessarily, because maybe he isn't her superior officer, but she doesn't want word to get around of what's happening because he talks to other admirals. I don't know.
I think you're supposed to lie to your superior officer. That's just the rules.
I mean, that's the rule of the Cerritos, at least. But
yeah. There we go. That's where all the problems come from. It's their relationship in the first place, and that's how she's a captain, and that's it.
Yeah, there we go.
Aha. We have figured out what the problem is with the ship.
Yeah. I hope we get a little bit more of their background, because if it does turn out that they were serving together, like she was his first officer, then that would explain a bit.
I mean, maybe, but I kind of feel like in a show like this, we won't.
Oh, no, we definitely won't. I just said I wish we would.
Yeah.
What if we find out that Mariner worked under her dad when he was a captain, and like that mission that she talked about is what she got demoted was because of him, and the demotion was giving it to the mom?
That'd be interesting.
What if we find that out?
Yeah. And what if something crazy happens next week and Mariner is the captain? Probably not. But yeah, no, that would be interesting just to find out more of what, because they dropped that hint like, oh, she got demoted for whatever. I assume they're going to pick it up in some way sometime. I don't know when.
We will never find out.
Which is... Mm-hmm. That's frustrating. I want those things to be picked up. Pick up on it. Anyway.
Okay, and our last topic, we'll just move on to that there. So we got a little bit of the Titan, but we only got 15 seconds. Not much happened, so that's all we have to say about that. Now let's move on.
Where's Christine Vale?
Yeah, no kidding. Where's Christine Vale?
There. What if that's Christine Vale with the green skin? She. I mean, it's not like Star Trek needs continuity with alien species for the same character. I mean, let's look at Colt for Strange New Worlds there, right? So
there'll be an explanation for what happened. Maybe, probably not, but maybe, I don't know. But yeah, we didn't
see. Okay, if that was Christine Vale. I mean, she changes her hair color all the time.
Maybe you can dye your skin
too. There you go.
I mean, it's the future.
Oh, there's a whole other level of questionable practice there, though.
Yeah. Quite true.
Yeah.
Quite true.
Yeah,
let's not go in there.
Bad. That's not Vale.
No.
That's not Vale.
No.
But yes, I do hope we see more of the Titan next week.
Yes. Crazy Riker. Crazy Riker's back.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic.
In Command, he likes music analogies. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that we never heard him here. We never heard him here? Yeah. We never heard him... I can't talk tonight. We never heard him say any music analogies for 20 years, and then all of a sudden that's all he's doing.
But I mean,
so it's beautiful.
He knows that future generations will see this as a comedy, so he's playing up to that. He's making sure to do them.
Yeah. That's actually one of the I don't know what a good word is for it. That's one of my favorite pieces of the comedy, is how over the top he is. And I think that really works well.
I expect pizza on the bridge next week.
Yes! He's got a pizza oven in his ready room.
In his ready room, yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. Why not? Or maybe it's just like a replicator that just has like pizza oven adornment around it, and it just comes right out of the replicator.
That would be great.
And then later on, he decides it's better to have it out of an actual pizza oven.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's true.
Go ahead.
You reminded me. Did you guys see any of the pictures of the premiere from last week for this episode that they did?
No.
What do you mean? Yeah.
They did like an outdoor...
I saw a little bit.
Yeah. They had a setup with a bunch of food trucks, but the food trucks were behind screens, sheets of wood or whatever that were done up to look like holodeck. So when you ordered for the food truck, it looked like you were ordering out of a replicator.
Oh, that's cool.
It was really cool. I think I want to say it was TrekCore that put up the pictures, but I'm not 100% on that. But it did look really cool. Mm-hmm. And I think with Titan... this reminds me, and I'm sure Brandon thought of this too, of what they do on Walking Dead, where you have, here's a story of this group of people, and then 2 weeks later is a story of this group of people that was happening at the exact same time. So when the episode was first over, I was thinking, this is going to be, we're going to have all Titan next week, but next week is the Kayshawn, his eyes open. So... yeah. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be the third episode that's all Titan. I don't know.
I don't think we're going to have one that's all Titan. I feel like it's just going to be like bits here and there.
I think we will.
You think there will be one that's all Titan?
I do. I think that maybe episode 3 is going to be a full Titan episode.
And then it will be about why Boimler can't be on the Titan, sadly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
At some point.
It's because he's freaking out on the bridge and screaming and crap like that. That's why.
Yeah.
Will Riker's like, I can't have this on my bridge. I can't have screaming like that. Red alert! I mean, their shields are down to 30%, and then he calls for red alert. Like,
yeah, that was beautiful.
In the middle of a crisis. Like, what's going on here?
At some point, I
love my job.
At some point, I want him to say, "Oh, go ahead."
No, I was just gonna say, like, what if Boimler does something that ends up destroying the Titan, and then he has to get transferred? Let's not do that, though.
No, let's not do that at all.
But if I'm right next week,
yeah. No, I was thinking it would be really funny if at some point he's mad at Boimler and he's like, look, I used to work with a 15-year-old at the helm and he was better prepared for this than you were.
Yep.
That'd be nice to call him. You were saying something to me while we were watching it, or after we watched it, about how much that shows the difference between who's on what ships.
Yes. I guess we could say the ship culture in each ship with the crews, because Boimler was excelling on the Cerritos, or at least he was pushing that he was excelling, and then when he gets to the Titan and he runs into this kind of... You can see the difference between the second contact crews and the First Contact cruise.
Right, yeah.
And him getting put on the Titan on the bridge was just like, he was nowhere near prepared for that when it actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I was surprised to see him on the bridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's part of the joke, right? So, yeah. Okay, was there anything else on the episode itself before we jump into the canon connections? I think I'm good.
I've said more than enough.
Anything else?
Yep, I'm good.
Excellent. Justin, you ready with your canon connections?
This is the point at which I often have a long list of canon connections, but I didn't do that for season 1 of Lower Decks. I'm not really going to do it for season 2 of Lower Decks. There's lots of connections and whatever, but I mentioned my favorite, which is Cetacean Ops. Let's see that. Okay,
my favorite was the Miranda-class ship and the Cardassian buttons.
And Gary Mitchell.
On the walls. And Gary Mitchell. So lots of fun stuff.
Do you guys have favorite ones?
I love she was on. I thought it was the Reliant until he corrected me because it's a different serial number.
It's a different number, yeah.
Yeah.
The name went by too fast. I couldn't see what it was.
I think it was a Resolution. It was NCC 1877.
Yeah.
And that was something, when I looked it up on Memory.
It was Memory Alpha.
Memory Alpha, yeah. They said that was a ship from Star Trek Online.
Oh, that makes sense. They've been pulling that stuff in. Yeah. But I just love, because she talks about Khan. Again, we're calling back to the first episode of last season. She talks about Khan, and there she is. She has created a situation where she's in that position. And so I just love how that worked. And I also love that it was like, oh, look, it's the Reliant, but it's not the Reliant. So. Did you notice when she was shooting her way out of it, it wasn't just Cardassian ships, there were Jem'Hadar ships there too.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
So that's that's Dominion War. She was in the Dominion War for something, at some point. So, we didn't talk about the change in the opening sequence. The other ships. There's some Klingon ships with the Borg now.
Oh, and is that what it was? Klingons?
Well, there's Klingons, and then there's that weird looking one that is maybe the Pakled. Yeah.
I was thinking it might have been the Pakleds. I wasn't sure.
You know what? Yeah. More ships, but the Cerritos is still running away.
Yes.
Still don't like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Awesome. Maybe I'll finish on a positive note. Great animation, beautiful music. I'll leave it there.
There you go. Jason, final thoughts?
I have to say I did like the hologram Boimler talking about how the Cardassians kept asking him about lights.
Yeah, that was the other one.
Yeah. That was beautiful, and just how calm the doctor was during the whole crisis. She didn't freak out at all. She was just coolly figure out a way to put Ransom down.
Put him down, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think Tano is my favorite in the episode because she was actually trying to do her job. But anyway.
Yes,
it seems like she is often in that position. She's a little bit. She comes out a little crazy. Like I think she's meant to be McCoy on steroids. But I don't see her not doing her job at any point.
Yeah.
When she's supposed to be doing her job. Not like when she runs into Mariner in the hallway and gets mad at her. But.
Jason, thank you so much for joining us for the discussion today. Where can listeners find you online when it's not leg day?
Okay, well, when it's not leg day, you can find me on Twitter at Jason Dark Elf. And then also you can find me on Twitter at History with the Szilagyis.
Well, and they can listen to us.
And they can also listen to us,
yes,
on the show.
On the show.
Yeah. You can if you follow him, you'll get some nice pictures of the miniatures he paints.
That's true.
Warhammer miniatures.
Ooh, nice.
So if people are into Warhammer miniatures.
Yes, I do know that at one point you interviewed James Swallow.
Oh, yeah.
Who is a favorite author. And he did a lot of Warhammer stuff. So
nice.
When I found that out, I was like, oh my God, I got questions, but not anything that revolves around your show. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Awesome. Chrissy, where can people find you when you're not letting your godlike powers go to your head?
Well, that would be nice. Then I could snap my fingers and make my student loans disappear. All right. Isn't that sad? That was the first thing I thought of. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Commentary on modern society. Right. So in addition to here on Infinite Diversity, of course, you can find me on History with the Szilagys here on the UFP network that I do with my partner Jason here. And I'm happy to chat about our shows in the Federation Council Chambers on Facebook. And I'm also on Twitter at The Goddess Livia. That's TheGoddessLivia, where I tweet about Star Trek history and leftist politics.
Justin, where can people find you when you're not dropping a boulder on Chrissy?
Listeners, note, I will only do that if it's absolutely necessary to drive out the godlike powers. But you can find me on Twitter. I'm at TrekFan4747, where I tweet about nothing but Star Trek. And you can find me in our Facebook group, the Federation Council Chambers, fighting you about Lower Decks. No, I'm tried to not fight people about it, but you can find me there talking Star Trek and other stuff. I hope you'll join us. Boy, I hope you do.
Yeah, it's a fun place to be. It's a place on Facebook where there's not meanness, which is nice.
Yes, everything has rainbows shooting out of our eyes. Well, maybe not that.
And as for me, when I'm not trying to freeze Justin's brain to ensure that he remains my friend, you can find me on Twitter at Brandon Matella.
It's not just freezing; you're like cutting it out of my head.
Well, I didn't want to tell you that yet.
Okay, I will be elsewhere. Goodbye.
You can find me here on the network with a show called Franchise Fatigue that I host with my friend Zach. On that show, we cover movies, remakes, and sequels. And then you can also find me over on the Fandom Podcast Network with a show called Good Evening, an Alfred Hitchcock podcast, which is all about Hitch's films in chronological order. Here on the network, you can also find a show called All Good Things, which covers all Star Trek with Amy Nelson, Patrick Devlin, and Ken Tripp. Ria Papageorgiou, Kevin Scharf, Amy Nelson, and Joe Keegan. They host a show called Galaxy Class, which is all TNG all the time. Mickey's Marvels is hosted by Chris Tribuzio, Patrick Devlin, and Casey Pettitt, and they talk all things under the Disney umbrella. And we also have Always Hold On to Arrow, which is a Arrow-focused podcast hosted by Lance Laster and Kawante Chillis. And we also have Cryptozoology entertaining podcast with Ken Tripp and Zach Moore, covering all different kinds of multimedia relating to Bigfoot, and that show is called Sasquatch. Thank you very much for tuning into Infinite Diversity. Thank you to our executive producers, Ken Tripp, Tony Robinson, and Zach Moore. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music, and Tony Robinson for the awesome show art. Please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, and please subscribe. If you want to reach out, you can find the network on Twitter at UFP Earth, or our show in particular at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the UFP podcasts in our Facebook group called the Federation Council Chambers, or you can email us at infinitediversity@ufp.earth. On the next episode, I will not be here because I will be on vacation.
Sadness.
But
Shaka
you guys,
when the walls fell.
You guys will be talking about the next episode of Lower Decks, which is called Keisha His Eyes Open. Until then, peace and long life.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.
Excellent. Justin, where can people find you when you're not kicking Chrissy in the boobs?
Oh, Brandon. Pick another one. I'm not going to include that in the episode.
Aw.
Maybe I'll put it at the end of the episode, but I'm not going to.
If I had godlike powers and that was the only way to put me down,
then there needs to be a different writer for that scene.
Justin, where can people find you when you're not dropping a boulder on Christy? Okay, let me do it again. I just said the name wrong now.
It's okay.